Was the golden era of gaming really that good, or is nostalgia and yearning for the days of our younger years making us believe that it was? How's it going, guys? I'm Treestain, and I want to talk about it. Gaming is better right now than it's ever been, but it seems like there's this perpetual discontent in the gaming community here recently. Along with the discontent, there's also a lot of talk about the golden era of gaming and how gaming just used to be better. I want to dive into why that is and what's causing gaming to generally feel worse. Before that, I do think it's important to define what the golden era of gaming actually is. While I think most people watching this video will know and may have even experienced it, there is actually still some debate on what years the golden era was for gaming. I'm personally in the boat of thinking that the golden era of gaming was the Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii generation of consoles, and any games released from basically 2006 to 2013. With online gaming becoming more accessible during this time period, on top of some of the communities surrounding these games like Halo and Call of Duty exploding in popularity, it was a pretty major turning point for video games as a whole and really pushed the gaming scene to a whole other level outside of LAN parties and couch co-op games. While this was happening predominantly on the Xbox 360 and PS3, this was also around the time PC gaming really started ramping up in both accessibility and popularity as well, especially with the player base of World of Warcraft picking up and Minecraft coming out in this time period. The main games that really propelled this era of gaming to be as renowned as it is really comes down to three games in my opinion: Halo 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and Minecraft. You can debate that all you want in the comments, but just know you're wrong. The fall off of this era, in my opinion, really started with Call of Duty Ghosts. It was the game that caused me personally, and as well as a lot of other players, to really fall out of love with the Call of Duty series. And despite this, I still have the Call of Duty Ghost flag that I won from a midnight release tournament for the game because it means something to me. After looking back, I will say, seeing the game now, I think we missed out greatly and didn't really give that game a fair chance, but that's a topic for another video. Now that we've established a general time frame of games that I'm talking about, let's speak on why I think we hold these games at such a high regard. I know the primary fuel for the desire to play these old games mostly stems from nostalgia. Whether we feel nostalgic over these games because of all the late nights we stayed up playing with our friends, or the fact that some of us use it as an escape from the real world. Whatever the reason, it was comfortable to us. It was almost like a second home for some of us. A place where we could go, despite being confined to the worlds of whatever game we were playing at the time, we could feel free. Even in Call of Duty lobbies in the early games, despite being called slurs and cussed out regularly, and possibly doxed and hacked a time or two, it was some of the most fun I've ever had playing video games. But were they really that good, or am I just glaring over all the problems from that time period? I think one thing to keep in mind during this time period of gaming is, outside of major bugs occasionally getting fixed and DLC being added every once in a while, they weren't released in a unfinished state. There weren't really any early access games, and there wasn't really any form of beta testing at the time either. For the most part, there seems to have been more passion and effort poured into the games of this era. Nowadays, we hardly even get a fully finished game to be released on time without any major hiccups. I personally don't understand how, as time went on, game releases have gotten worse over time, and it seems like nothing has really improved. Then when you do have a fully finished game come out, you get other devs come out and say that it's an anomaly in the industry, but God forbid a company work on a game for years and it actually turn out like a game that was worked on for years. I personally believe that there's a lack of passion being reinforced by CEOs and higher-ups from AAA studios and game publishers to get as much profit out of modern games as possible, without really considering that the fan base of these games take any sort of notice of the declining quality of games. A lot of the consumer base for video games is getting older and has less time to play games that lack the depth and the quality that they seek, as well as see less value in spending money on unfinished games. Speaking of the consumer base getting older, I do believe that this has a major part to play in the reasoning these games are held to such a high regard as well. A lot of the early 2000s gamers have a lot less time to put into games now, as we have kids, jobs, spouses, and other adult responsibilities to worry about. When we play games, it's in the very little free time we have, and in most cases, at least for me, I would rather be playing a game that I'm familiar with and comfortable playing. That creates a gaming headspace for me where I primarily want to play older games from my childhood. I mean, clearly my comfort game at this point is Minecraft, as I can pick it up and put it down whenever I want to, and it will always be there for me when I want to pick it back up in between playing new games or other old games that I love. I never thought I'd see the day when I would become a gamer dad, but as my son gets older, I see it coming to light more and more. Another thing I've noticed for myself is as I get older, my taste in games has changed as well. I'm a lot more open to just playing any cool game that comes out outside of my comfort zone, instead of sticking to the same type of game or same thing constantly. And now I'm running into the issue where I'm having too much to play and not enough time to play everything I want to. Now, I've talked about my journey of using my phone less a ton recently, and unfortunately for you, this video will be no different, as it's a pretty major life-changing thing that I've been doing for myself. But one thing I see a lot of people doing is basing their opinion of a game on someone else's opinion of a game. I understand some of it, as you don't want to waste your money on a game you won't enjoy, but I feel as though listening to what the internet says about pretty much anything for that matter, you would just end up not enjoying anything at all. There have been many games to come out over the past few years that end up dead on day one, and I feel a ton of that has to do with people being involved online and over-influenced on their opinions. Back in the day, if a game was bad, you could maybe look it up on YouTube or maybe find it on a forum somewhere and they would talk about it some. But for the most part, it was a pretty open market for basically any genre of game to have a chance at succeeding. Nowadays, games can be dead before they even release fully. I'm a firm believer that there's not enough love for the bad things out there. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself here, and I'll probably regret this at some point, but one of my favorite movie series is the Twilight Saga. I know they're bad. I know some of the actors in the movies detest even being in them, but I love them so much for that, and all of the things that make those movies so bad. That being said, I know there are some people out there that love some of the most hated and worst games out there. On top of enjoying bad media, I'm also a firm believer that it's become harder to entertain people and keep their attention. With the constant doom scrolling and the death of brain cells going on because of it, it has slowly made it hard to draw people away from their mind-numbing activities that they have in the palm of their hands. Doing anything that takes longer than 10 minutes now has become almost a chore for people. It's gotten to the point to where people can't really hold a real-life conversation without pulling out their phone and scrolling on TikTok in the middle of it. You almost have to pull up a Minecraft parkour or a Subway Surfer video and put it on your forehead just to get them to look at you. So the short answer, yes, the golden era of gaming really was that good, for all of the reasons I said before. The long answer is yes, but modern gaming is still pretty fantastic, but it is heading in a horrible direction nobody really wants. And if you want to watch a video on that, it should be on the screen now. That's all I have to say for you guys today. Leave a like if you enjoyed this Tree Talks video. Have a great day. Take care. Adios.